I have to show you something. And then you're free to go wherever you want.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at the most bone-chilling scenes of horror in FX's haunting anthology series, American Horror Story.
I'd fairly swoon when I see the moment of terror register on a handsome face. Makes me feel young again.
If you're afraid of spoilers, beware of what's ahead. Number 20, Nuclear Armageddon. Of all the horror scenarios for AHS to portray realistically, it just had to be the one that scares the whole world. Apocalypse opens with news that a nuclear strike on Los Angeles is imminent.
Missile alert is real. In less than an hour, Los Angeles is going to be an empty crater.
Hey, Daddy, you're scaring me.
Nobody knows why or even who launched the nuke. All people can do is panic and watch the solemn news broadcast until it cuts off. A few people barely escape on Coco St. Pierre Vanderbilt's private jet before a missile completely obliterates LA. The rest of the world soon follows in this eerie dramatization of sudden doomsday, a nightmare that has only grown more potent since 2018.
The end? No. The beginning.
Apocalypse gets more fantastical from there, but wastes no time in delivering on the scariest season title yet. Number 19, Human-Alien Hybrids. We don't see much of the extraterrestrials in the double feature subseason Death Valley. Their telepathic control of humans is freaky enough.
We've spoken before. From another body.
Baby.
She's in here, Mr. President. And she's not very happy about it.
Of course, nothing could prepare a captive Troy Lord for the big reveal of the alien's offspring with humans. The masked Theta tries in vain to calm him as she observes his pregnancy with a hybrid. When she finally removes her mask to reveal what Troy is expected to give birth to, the image is ghastly.
Don't focus on the pain. Focus on the future.
Please, just tell me what happens next.
It seems like you'd get used to Theta's crudely mixed up mug as she becomes key to the rest of the story. But with the horrors in store for the human-alien hybrids, it's safe to judge this book by its disturbing cover. Number 18, Meet Mr. Jingles. 1984 promises horror fans a nostalgic homage to classic slashers. The season even opens with a play on the cliché of a serial killer interrupting frisky campers.
What was that? I know you two heard it. Jingling.
It's probably those annoying wind chimes the 8-year-old made.
Then, all the gory fun is spoiled by the sheer savagery of Mr. Jingles' 1970 massacre at Camp Redwood. He butchers the threesome with a knife before severing their ears for his collection. The camera then slowly pans out to reveal that he killed everyone in the cabin. This hook is gory but feels more than just sensationalistic in how it draws out the killer's process and the atmosphere. You know straight away the menace that Mr. Jingles will bring on his return to the camp in 14 years' time.
This is the site of the worst summer camp massacre of all time.
Come on, Rita.
His name was Benjamin Richter, but everybody called him Mr. Jingles.
Number 17, Santa Claus is coming to town. If any actor can make Santa Claus utterly terrifying, it's Ian McShane. Never mind Lee Emerson making his own run on Christmas Eve.
He's gonna be pretty steamed at you if he doesn't get that ad.
Well, if he's good enough, his mother will end up giving it to him. If he's not, he'll blame himself.
It's never your fault.
The spree killer's arc on Asylum begins with him gunning down a charity Santa to steal his suit. He then breaks into a house, ties up a small child's parents, and shoots them dead. The whole time, McShane smoothly delivers a deranged monologue about targeting the most seemingly happy households.
What do you want? I'm Santa Claus. I'm here to bestow a little Christmas spirit upon you because what is Christmas about if it's not about families being together? Do you appreciate that right now, do you?
This was just one of the 5 family slayings that got Emerson committed to Briarcliff Manor. Whatever trauma could have caused the petty criminal's psychotic break, his random acts of violence are awful enough without him killing the Christmas spirit. Number 16, Burning Down the Ascension Bar. The more dramatic season NYC has terror to spare in the hulking, leather-clad Big Daddy. The public generally ignores the serial killer's targeted attacks on New York's gay community. That is, until he makes a grand gesture by throwing a Molotov cocktail into the Ascension Bar after chaining its door shut. The fire causes serious injuries and several casualties. Viewers observe Big Daddy as an allegory for the horrors stalking the LGBTQ+ community in the 1980s. What makes this moment uniquely horrific is that it represents mass hate crimes that persist to this day.
Half the people in this city would love to burn down a gay bar.
Not me. Where else would I go get a drink?
Airing mere months after a high-profile arson attack on a Brooklyn LGBTQ+ club, Smoke Signals features one of the most relevant shocks of an important season. Number 15, Adeline's death. For most of Delicate, it was believed that Dex Harding's first wife died in an accidental fire.
Oh, God, I wish she could see you now. She'd be so proud, Dex.
Talia.
I can feel her spirit with us right now.
Jesus.
Can't you?
As his second wife, Anna Alcott, begins to uncover a conspiracy surrounding her pregnancy, a flashback episode reveals the truth about Adeline Harding. It turns out she was a former member of a cult that sacrifices pregnant women to sustain eternal youth. When Adeline becomes pregnant herself, her old comrades strap her down, cut her stomach open, and bathe in the blood. They then burn her alive to cover their tracks. Adeline's gruesome demise confirms the very real danger following a paranoid Anna. At the same time, it fully gestates the season's body and psychological horror metaphors for pregnancy. Number 14, First Person. Roanoke consistently makes creative, chilling use of its mockumentary found footage format. It gets especially immersive when 3 My Roanoke Nightmare fans film their own paranormal investigation with helmet-mounted GoPros.
Yo, what are you doing? You can't turn the camera off. We gotta film everything.
Okay, I was just gonna take a leak. I didn't want to accidentally get a shot of my Johnson.
The theory that these one-off characters are audience avatars becomes all too clear with their deaths. After a possessed Lee kills Todd, the ghost colony eventually catches up with Sophie and Milo. The 2 desperate kids are then impaled on wooden pikes and burned alive. Their cameras show the whole agonizing event from a first-person point of view.
Present yourself for slaughter.
You don't deserve to die, you
Please, Lee, we don't want to be here. I want to be a doctor to help people. Milo's a good person. He volunteers at the shelter. Don't do this.
It may already be one of the most grisly deaths ever seen on AHS, and seeing it from the victim's perspective brings home the unique horror of this season's visual style. Number 13, Polk Family Dinner. All the supernatural horrors of Roanoke can barely compete with the real horror creeping in the Virginia backwoods. Okay, really more stereotypical horror.
Please just let us go. We will go back to California and no one will ever see us again.
No, they won't, sweet mate. The Polks have always been as good as their word. We have a deal with the butcher and she's gonna get you back.
The Polk family is a banquet of horror tropes, especially when they kidnap 3 of our heroes for a grotesque feast. Audrey and Monet are forced to eat meat that they soon learn was carved from Lee's leg during torture.
Eat up. Need your strength.
It's a stomach-twisting feat of physical and psychological horror even by AHS standards. Many may not take kindly to this or any of the other extreme homages to rural horror's caricatures, but Dinner with the Polks effectively raises the stakes by playing into the most knee-jerk fears of this region. Number 12, Addiction Demon. Many disturbing manifestations of people's demons occupy AHS Hotel. A literal demon formed by years of substance use in the Hotel Cortez is particularly freaky, if only for its introduction.
You know what? It's your lucky day. Mama's feeling magnanimous.
While tripping out, Gabriel notices a shadowy figure lurking around his room. All of a sudden, a revolting creature with wax skin and no face pops up to throw him over the bed. Gabriel is helpless against, let's just say, a drill bit strapped to the demon's waist. The scene's frantic pace and flesh-crawling imagery make for one of the craziest jump scares in AHS history.
Say, I love you, Shelley, and it will all go away. Say it.
I love you, Sally.
It's so surreal that it would be ridiculous, were it not for the shock value or frank metaphor for messing with dangerous substances. Number 11, Twisty puts on a show. Twisty the Clown is coulrophobia incarnate. When he first shows up on Freak Show, his gruesome appearance and grinning mask are instant nightmare fuel.
For me? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Still, a young woman having a picnic humors the stranger's seemingly innocent circus act. He then knocks her out when her significant other arrives to shoo him away. When she comes to, she sees Twisty brutally stabbing her boyfriend to death before chasing her into the woods. This scene has so much impact that AHS Cult loosely recreates it in a comic book. Really, any scene with the clown is as blood-curdling as the first. His introduction just says everything about one of the most twisted characters American Horror Story has cursed us with. Number 10. Thaddeus and the Twins.
Excuse me. You are going to die in there.
Shut your mouth or we're gonna kick your ass!
Well, American Horror Story definitely did not waste any time in living up to its name. The pilot's opening scene contains one of the most hair-raising moments of the entire series, as two twins vandalize the wrong house and pay a hefty price. Now, to be honest, this scene is not going to win any awards for originality, but it does a fantastic job of establishing American Horror Story's tone while also just being an all-around intense moment. Thaddeus appears a few more times throughout the first season, but the infantada arguably peaks in the opening scene. Number 9. Penny's transformation into the Lizard Girl.
Were you there again? With him?
Yes. And I'm going back for good. I just came home to pack. You're gonna have to kill me to stop me.
Freak Show's main storylines tend to be rather polarizing among fans, with the season's highlights generally revolving around Elsa's Cabinet of Curiosities. Unlike most of the other troupe members, Penny's transformation from hospital volunteer to astonishing lizard girl was artificially induced by the girl's hateful father.
Beauty's painful, sweetheart.
In Freak Show, the supposedly normal people, who constantly ridicule or hurt members of Elsa's troupe, are the real monsters. And no scene better encapsulates this theme than Penny's undesired mutation at the hands of a tattoo artist and the worst parent of all time.
This is my fault. Oh, what have I done? Oh.
Number 8. A special dinner party.
Hey, come sit next to me. Between you and me, you don't want to sit next to Jim or John. They like them young and cute, like you.
Just keep your distance.
Aww.
Enjoy your last night of freedom.
In the aptly titled Devil's Night episode, the ghosts of infamous criminals convene at the Hotel Cortez for an annual feast that mostly consists of the other patrons. With the likes of Eileen Wuornos, Jeffrey Dahmer, and the Zodiac Killer on the guest list, this dinner is unsurprisingly packed with rousing conversations and unforgettable entertainment.
To our special night and our new guest.
American Horror Story loves to blend fact and fiction, and Devil's Night took this one step further by creating the definitive terrifying banquet featuring some of the vilest people to ever walk the face of the planet.
But imagine what he could have accomplished had he really listened to me. 33 bodies. He could have had 333.
Number 7. American Morbidity Museum.
Why we gotta travel all this way for skeletons and such?
Because I need a witness to this.
Orphans is not only one of the strongest standalone episodes of Season 4, but also of the entire series. One of the episode's highlights sees Maggie taking Desiree to the American Morbidity Museum, more popularly and accurately known as the Museum of Horrors. During a tour provided by the unnervingly sprightly curator, Desiree is shown some of the museum's attractions, including Ma Petite's remains, poor Salty's recently acquired head, and, to Maggie's surprise, Jimmy Lobster Boy Darling's hands. What makes the scene extra creepy is how it's presented as just any other museum.
Commonly referred to as lobster hands. Notice the fused digits connecting the first and the middle.
Number 6. Lana undergoes conversion therapy.
I mean, you would never intentionally expose these little angels to a homosexual, would you? And we both know what that so-called monster in the closet really is, don't we, Miss Winters?
When journalist Lana Winters decides to investigate the insane asylum Briarcliff Manor, she finds herself an unwitting patient instead. Left in the charge of psychiatrist Dr. Thredson, whose compassionate and reasonable facade hides a sinister truth, Lana is forced to undergo so-called conversion therapy. Everything related to the storyline is hard to watch, but what pushes Lana's therapy over the edge is that it has a basis in fact.
They tried hard to crush my spirit.
Something there is that doesn't love a wall. That sends the frozen groundswell under it. And
to destroy my mind.
American Horror Story definitely has plenty of more graphic scenes, but this is one of those instances when the show's knack for psychological horror shines true.
They use it at Harvard, Brigham Young, Cornell. The theory is that we're training your body to be physically repelled by certain triggers.
Number 5, Shelley at the playground. In the competition to determine American Horror Story's most unfortunate character, Shelley floats to the top after being put through a series of truly horrifying trials at Briarcliff. Abandoned in the woods with her legs amputated, she clings to life just enough to crawl to a schoolyard nearby. But the children and their teacher react with horror at the sight of her, leaving her not only physically but also mentally devastated.
Peggy Cartwright, what on earth is the matter?
There's a monster!
Seeing someone who's been through so much desperately fighting to survive could have been uplifting, if not for the fact that American Horror Story hates happy endings. Number 4, Lee meets the Piggy Man.
Speak, pig! Speak!
Pigmen seem to be a recurring theme on American Horror Story, and they creep us out every time. In the second episode of Roanoke, Shelby and Matt are haunted by strange visions after moving into their new house. Although the ghostly woman standing outside the house is quite unsettling, the apparition has nothing on the disgusting pig thing that stops by to say a quick hello to Matt's sister Lee. The costume is just the right mix of cheesy and gross, while the scene comes so out of nowhere that it almost doesn't feel real. Number 3, Dr. Oliver Thredson's Secret.
So, why don't we just concentrate on you? And then I'll see what I can do for Grace.
For the first few chapters of Asylum, the seemingly well-meaning Dr. Thredson is the one beacon of hope at Briarcliff. Then episode 5 happens and twist! The good doctor is Bloodyface. After escaping from the asylum and taking refuge at Thredson's home, Lana notices the doctor's unique handcrafted furniture and begins to wonder whether maybe something is not right.
I make the shades myself.
Really? What kind of material do you use?
Skin.
Along with being a genuine surprise for not only Lana but everyone watching. This reveal is expertly paced so that the secret is pieced together just seconds before Thredson abandons the facade.
I took her teeth.
Number 2, Buried Alive.
I'm trapped. I can't breathe. I'm screaming as loud as I can, but no one can hear me.
With this moment, American Horror Story covers its bases when it comes to phobias. Surprisingly exempt of gore, this season 7 scene sees a young couple being buried alive inside coffins by a group of demented clowns.
Don't you touch her!
The moment is preceded by Rosie, one of the victims, talking about how therapy helped her overcome a childhood fear of being buried alive. Combine that with the eerie music and the bone-chilling sound of the coffins being screwed shut, and you've got pure nightmare fuel. If nothing else, the clowns sure have a great sense of ironic timing.
2 bodies in the early stages of decomposition were discovered in the home, sealed in burial caskets.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Violet discovers her own body.
Please stay, please. I don't want to die.
It's too late for that.
Violet is the living personification of teenage angst, as the young girl tries to deal with living in a less than ideal household while also having feelings for the resident ghost. At one point, Violet tries to take her own life, but is seemingly saved by Tate, the guy at least partly responsible for driving her over the edge. Or at least she seems to have been rescued, until later on, Violet discovers her own body in the house's crawl space. This reveal represents everything awesome and haunting about American Horror Story, a moment that's both shocking and tragic.
I died when I took all those pills. I tried to save you.
Which American Horror Story moments have given you the biggest fright? Scream it out in the comments.
Are you with us? Or are you against us? And all that we stand for.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.